I'm joined now by Republican Senator Mike Rounds of the great state of South Dakota. Senator Rounds, thank you for being here. I want to start with the news about Kash Patel. Were you surprised that Donald Trump said that he wants to make him the director of the FBI? Does it concern you?
Well, every president has the opportunity to decide who he wants to offer a nomination for. So all of the nominations coming through, the president has the right to do. It doesn't surprise me that he will pick people that he believes are very loyal to himself, and that's been a part of the process. Every president wants people that are loyal to themselves. But I'll also share with you that Chris Wray, who the president nominated the first time around, and I think the president picked a very good man to be the director of the FBI when he did that in his first term. When we meet with him behind closed doors, I've had no objections to the way that he's handled himself. And so I don't have any complaints about the way that he's done his job right now. And once again, the president has the right to make nominations, but normally these are for a 10-year term. We'll see what his process is and whether he actually makes that nomination. And then if he does, just as with anybody who is nominated for one of these positions, once they've been nominated by the president, then the president gets the benefit of the doubt on the nomination, but we still go through a process, and that process includes advice and consent, which for the Senate means advice or consent sometimes.
Yeah, Wray was confirmed for a 10-year term, as you pointed out. You just said you have confidence in him. Is it a mistake to fire him? I mean, why is Trump determined to fire the FBI director, let alone one that he nominated in the first place?
Look, the one thing that we've learned is we don't speak for the president-elect. We simply respond when we're asked questions about what we're going to do. The message, and one that I feel very strongly about, is that there is a constitutional separation. The Founding Fathers did that for a reason. We accept that the president should have the people that he wants in his cabinet and on his team. Every president wants that. We give them the benefit of the doubt. I did that when Biden came into office. I did that before when President Trump was elected. I looked the same way at it when President Obama made nominations. I will do that again, and I think the vast majority of the members of the Senate will do the same thing. They will give a benefit of the doubt to the president with any one of his nominees, but then we have a constitutional role to play in that we provide advice and consent. And once again, that can be sometimes advice, sometimes it is consent. But that's the process. The process has worked, and I expect the process to continue on. And look, there'll be open hearings. There'll be an opportunity for these individuals, all of his nominees, to come before the members of the Senate. Most of the times we meet with them privately beforehand. And then once that is completed, we'll go before committees. The committees will have an opportunity to question them. The vast majority of those will be in public. Some will be behind closed doors, but the vast majority of them will be in public. We'll get an opportunity, and the American people will have an opportunity to see both the questions that are raised and the answers that these nominees respond with. And then we'll move forward.
All right, let me ask you about the other thing. One of the other things Donald Trump did this week, that was the threat to impose steep tariffs on Canada, Mexico, China. Do you think he's going to go through with these threats, or is this a negotiating tactic?
Look, the president's a businessman, a successful businessman. And once again, he has not imposed them. He doesn't have the authority yet to impose them, but he is putting them out in front. And now he's got everybody coming in and talking with him, talking about the concerns that he is expressing, because he really does believe that tariffs can be a great tool for making sure that our economy grows and thrives. But one more thing, the one thing that I have noticed time and again is he cares about kids, and what he has seen at the southern border, he's frustrated with. He doesn't like to see people suffering. He's seen what's happened as these migrants have come north. He wants it to stop. He thinks it's wrong. And he thinks that by suggesting these tariffs right now, he's going to get the attention of the leaders in the other countries. And, I don't think there's anybody out there arguing that we've got to fix our borders. If we can do that with tariffs, you're not going to find very many people in the United States that are going to disagree with him on that. On the other hand, look, I'm from South Dakota. You know that. And look, We're an ag state. When I talk to my farmers and to my ranchers about that, they're concerned about retaliation. You know what they tell me time and again? The borders are important. We're going to do our part as well. If we've got to have tariffs, so be it. We're going to support the president. let's get this thing rolling again. And I mean, look, they believe in his America First approach. We want to give him an opportunity to be successful in that.
All right, turning to Ukraine, you made some interesting comments recently, casting doubts about the possibility of peace talks between Ukraine and Vladimir Putin, any kind of an agreement that would involve giving up territory in exchange for peace. Let's take a listen to what you said.
It's time to take a hard look at this thing and really ask ourselves, do you believe that this tyrant, if you offer him a part of a free country, do you think he's going to stop? As much as I would love to say that there is a path towards a peaceful resolution to this by negotiating with this tyrant, I suspect that we may be deceiving ourselves.
But this is exactly what Trump's trying to do, right? He's named an envoy for these peace talks, which obviously haven't started and haven't been committed to by either side yet. But the framework appears to be exactly what you just said is problematic, which is Ukraine giving to Russia territory that it has taken by force in exchange for peace.
I don't think that we should deceive ourselves. I think Mr. Putin is a tyrant. I think dealing with him is going to be extremely difficult. I give President Trump credit for saying that he wants to end this. He wants to end the bloodshed. He doesn't like the suffering that's out there. I just think this is going to be an enormous task for anybody to negotiate with Putin. Look, I don't think this guy is interested in stopping anywhere that he's at right now. I think we have to recognize that. So I think the president's got a huge job on his hands if we're going to be successful in stopping Putin. I think wherever we look, Mr. Putin is going to do his best to find a weakness. If he finds a weakness within NATO, he's going to try to utilize that to his advantage. I think the fact that he has looked elsewhere in the world for opportunities to create problems and mischief for us, I think he's done that. So I think, and once again, not taking anything away from a president who wants to find peace, I just point out just how big of a project it's going to be for any president to be successful in negotiating with this tyrant. And I wish him the best. I hope it is successful. But if you compare that, the fact that the president wants to end this with what's happened on the Biden administration, I think the fact that the Biden administration has shown some real weaknesses throughout the world. The world's on fire. And people just simply haven't respected our leadership role. You can't win, you can't slow down these fires across the country unless you lay out your dominance with the capabilities that you have and the fact that you're going to fight for freedom. So, look, I want to see President Trump be successful in this. I want to see Ukraine with its sovereignty protected. I just think it's going to be a major, major task to overcome what Putin is offering, and I just simply don't know that we can trust this guy to make a deal and keep it. If you take a look back, look, we made a deal with Ukraine. The United States was one of the parties. Russia was one of the parties. And that's when they gave up their nuclear weapons. It's not the United States that's causing the problems there in Ukraine right now. It is Russia going back on their written commitment to help protect the lines that were drawn in 1994. So once again, it is Putin going back on his country's word of honor. I don't think you can trust a guy that doesn't honor their word of honor.
All right. Well, you're perfectly clear about that. Senator Rounds, thank you very much for joining us.